My name is Chris Rosansky, the Airport Administrator for the City of Venice at the Venice Municipal Airport. The Airport Administrator is a property manager. We also have a lot of facilities to oversee. We work with the public, tenants, businesses that may use or be based on the airport. We also work with state and federal aviation officials and other stakeholders that have an interest in the airport. The Venice Municipal Airport is a general aviation facility. It has two 5,000-foot runways. We have approximately 60,000 takeoffs and landings a year, and that was based on the traffic counts for 2010. And a lot of flight training occurs here. Slightly more than half of our activity is from flight training. However, just like you see seasonal traffic on the roadways throughout the community, our traffic is somewhat seasonal as well, and people visit the area from up north. They fly into Venice, whether their home is located in Venice or a neighboring community like Casey Key or Boca Grande, or even we have some tenants and visitors who go up to Sarasota. Well, actually, the first recorded flight in the city of Venice was back in 1927, where an aircraft delivered fresh strawberries to Hotel Venice for guests that were staying there at the hotel. Of course, in the early 1930s, Dr. Albee donated land for the first airport within the city of Venice, and that was located at approximately at the present-day location of the Venice High School. One of the things that he did was transport patients to the community, to his medical facility. So recognizing the value of the airport and how it enhanced his ability to conduct business and help grow the community. It was a great asset to the development of the city at that time. Of course, in 1942, the Venice Army Airfield went under construction, and it opened in July of 1943, training approximately 20,000 airmen for the war effort. And after the war was over, the federal government deeded the property over to the city of Venice to be operated as a municipal airport. And it has been owned by the city and operated by the city of Venice ever since. The city of Venice does own the airport. However, as a condition or covenant of accepting federal surplus property from the War Assets Administration, there were certain obligations that came along with that, such as the obligation to always and forever operate Venice Municipal Airport as an aviation facility open to the public. The City of Venice has submitted a draft airport layout plan to the Federal Aviation Administration in October 2010, and that airport layout plan is essentially a 20-year planning document that looks at the current conditions and future needs of the facility. That plan includes rehabilitating runway 422. It was originally constructed in 1942 but hasn't received any substantial rehabilitation since that time. And as the city's noise mitigation runway, we would like to improve its condition to enhance its utilization. The other significant aspect is related to runway 1331. The runway is proposed to be shifted to the southeast, closer to the Intercoastal Waterway, by approximately 700 feet or so, and that'll be done to bring the runway protection zone onto the airport property to the extent practical. In the future, we will continue to operate Venice as a general aviation facility, supporting flight training and recreational activities, and the visitors who come to the region during the winter months. The airport does have a significant impact in the community. It brings jobs to the community. There are businesses on the airport and businesses that are supported off the airport by the activities that happen here. One of those businesses is an avionics installer. They work with the GPS units, navigation systems that you might see in aircraft that are very popular today as we have the enhanced technology. There are also services that benefit the community that you can't necessarily put a dollar figure on, such as the Sarasota County Sheriff's Department that provides law enforcement support and firefighting capabilities here. And then, of course, there's a humanitarian benefit through other organizations like Agape Flights, who support missionaries in Haiti and in different parts of the Caribbean. Right, the Federal Aviation Administration solely regulates the operation of aircraft in the sky. So the City of Venice has very little jurisdiction, no jurisdiction, over aircraft that are operating in the skies overhead of the city. However, recognizing the need to be a good neighbor in the community, the airport has worked to promote a flying friendly program. There's recommended procedures, and it's always at pilot's discretion. As recommendations, they have to be in the interest of safety. So when a pilot is taking off on runway 31, for example, one recommendation is to ask him to turn west over the Gulf of Mexico as soon as possible over takeoff, after takeoff, instead of flying over the residential areas northwest of the airport.
The sidestep departure for runway 31 is essentially a noise mitigation or a noise abatement procedure to keep the people happy who live on the end of runway 31. I know airplanes obviously make noise on departure, so as soon, it's recommended, this is not a required procedure, but we're all asked to follow the procedure. As soon as we depart runway 31, which is a northwest heading, we immediately make about a 20 to a 30 degree left turn and turn out over the water, and this eliminates a good deal of the noise over the Golden Beach area.
Well, one of the things that I like most about this position is that the airport is a city unto itself in a lot of ways. Although we are within Venice city limits, there is a community on the airport amongst the businesses and other tenants here. So we deal with their questions and issues on a daily basis. We are working diligently now on some of the improvements to the airport to enhance the safety and utility of the airport, and we interact a lot with the public. I really enjoy being engaged with the community and the opportunities that we have to interact with both the aviation and the non-flying public.
My name is Paul Salez from Osprey. I am a volunteer Angel Flight pilot, and this is my airplane that I utilize in the course of Angel Flights. Angel Flight is a national organization that consists of volunteer pilots who provide free air transportation to people in need. We carry a lot of people who have had operations or are in need of medical help, and we're not an ambulance service. You have to get off and on the airplane yourself. But for example, a lot of the missions I fly out of here are to carry local people to medical services in Tampa or Jacksonville or over on the other coast, over to West Palm Beach. All right. I had heard about Angel Flight through another pilot about 11 years ago. In fact, I flew with him on an Angel Flight, and that got me interested in it, and I've been doing Angel Flights ever since then. It's been 11 years now. I was an airline pilot who flew all over the world. I flew everything from 747s to DC-8s, and I bought the airplane just prior to retirement because I knew after retiring I just couldn't get away from airplanes. And at that point in time, that's when I joined Angel Flight, became an Angel Flight pilot. One of the flights that I did several years ago was a flight where a gentleman needed a transplant for a set of lungs, and these particular missions are done on a very short-term basis, literally hours. Hours come into play here. I flew down to Fort Myers to pick up this gentleman and brought him to Gainesville, where he ended up getting another set of lungs, if you will, and it was a successful operation, and he still is alive today. I still get Christmas cards from his family, and it's just very rewarding to be involved in something like this. At Venice, there are 5 Angel Flight pilots who have their own aircraft, who donate their time and aircraft for Angel Flight. In terms of how many flights a week or a month, it's really hard to say. It varies. I would say probably maybe 2 flights a week out of Venice. A lot of the flights that I do are not all of our flights are not necessarily out of Venice. I might take a flight out of Sarasota or Punta Gorda, There's no restriction as to where I can fly. I just have to look at the schedule and select the trip and do it. Venice Airport being a public field, there is no control tower here, so there's no problem with air traffic control procedures. Essentially, it's what we call visual flight rule flying for the most part. All I have to do is literally pull the airplane out, pre-flighter. I've already done my weather checking, if you will, and I just have to taxi out, observe which runway is being used, and taxi to that runway and depart. Well, Angel Flight is a great organization that unfortunately not many people know about, and we live in an area where there is an older population who really many people could use our services, and it would be just great to get out as much information as we can about Angel Flight in order for people to realize that there is this possibility, if they are in need of transportation, that the Angel Flight could possibly provide that transportation for them. Actually, the reason I came to Venice was to do more fishing. I came from New England where I did a lot of fishing, but I love the weather and I love the location, and it was only a number of years later. We've been here 22 years now. As I indicated earlier, I bought my airplane just prior to retiring because I just couldn't keep away from flying, and it was just convenient, the fact that there happened to be a great airport here in Venice, which is right next to where I live. As flying out of Venice, there are just tremendous views everywhere. I love the ocean. Now, because of what we call restricted areas that are a little farther offshore, we can't go very far offshore, but I just love to see the water and the land, for that matter. Florida is a very interesting topography also, but I would say the water is the greatest thing for me.
My name is Alan Spear, and I'm the Executive Director for Agape Flights. Agape Flights is a missionary organization, a supplying organization. We resource missionaries, we supply them with their needs, but we're really in business to serve those who are serving Christ. That's really what it says. Well, because missionaries are in places that sometimes are not easily gotten to, and so we try to meet their needs by going to where they're at and bringing things to them that they can't always get. So the need for a plane, the need for a hangar, need for airport, is all those things are necessary, and missionaries require and need that support. We fly to the Bahamas, Eleuthera, Exuma. We fly to Port-au-Prince in Haiti and Cape Haitian, Lacaille, and we fly to the Dominican Republic, both Santiago and Santo Domingo. Well, usually every week a full load, as you've already seen today, about 3,000 pounds, and then it varies week to week as to who gets what, but we try to equal out those loads. We have some limitations in some places that we can't take as much by their restrictions, by the airport's restrictions. So, but every week, for as Jeff has shared with you, as long as he can remember, only 2 loads in the last 8 years that have not been full. So, and as you can see back here, many times people are waiting for things too. Well, I'll start with the volunteers. The volunteers are amazing in that since we've been here in Venice, we've found a very group of volunteers, uniquely gifted people that have come in, and especially during the earthquake in Haiti, we could not have managed without the volunteer help that we got from the Venice community. It's been amazing, but we right now are kind of in a slow period because many of our volunteers go back to their homes during the summer. But even today, I mean, volunteer here today, his name is Ted. He drives from Sarasota, has been with us since we were up there in Sarasota. He drives here several times a week, and without our volunteers, we're pretty much out of business. We have a wonderful staff here of about 15, and again, each uniquely qualified to be here, from our Director of Ops to pilots to Director of Development, various employees. But again, I would always go back to the volunteers. Tremendous help to us and to the missionaries. We were located in Sarasota, and our lease had run out. And so when we started looking as to where we wanted to be, and one thing was this hangar is absolutely a blessing to us. It's wonderful because it's big, it's spacious, as you can see with the Embraer. This plane is big enough that you have to have that kind of space. The other thing was that we were welcomed in this community. Such a warm welcome, not only by city officials but by residents and the people right here at the airport, our neighbors. And so it was a great opportunity for us. One of the big pluses, again, by coming here was the volunteer base, because we really needed volunteers. We had great volunteers up in Sarasota, and we found that we have just the same attitude of desiring to be a part of something very special. And so that was a big draw for us here.
My name is Jeff Yanisello. I'm Director of Operations here at Agape. I've been here about 8 years officially this summer. And my job is to make sure the operations side of the flights, the maintenance, and the cargo get done on a daily, weekly basis. Well, it's a Embraer 110. A Bondurante is the name, or nickname Bandit. It's from Brazil, designed for both military and commercial passenger usage. So there's different configurations to it. Ours is actually in the cargo configuration. So when you look in, and you just see, what we have is a gill liner up that, not very much on the way of interior, but it's great for hauling boxes and mail and things like that. It's 1980, I believe. So it's not new, but new to us, and it does a really great job. We're hauling approximately 3,000 pounds of actual cargo and mail each week. That's and plus then you've got crew and fuel on top of that. So as a passenger plane, it would be similar to a 19-passenger plane. So, but ours is primarily cargo.
Well, the first time I interviewed here and actually came to the hangar, one of my first impressions was looking out these windows and seeing this hangar. At least I thought it was full of supplies. Everybody's told me it wasn't even near full, because during the earthquake this whole hangar was full of supplies, and actually 2 other warehouses had supplies in them from people who had brought them in to help support the people in need in Haiti. And as I looked out through these windows and saw all of this activity going on, and the amazing people that I later came to find out were not employees of Agape, they were volunteers. I was really impressed with that, because I wanted to be a part of something like that. I wanted to be a part of an organization that had that sort of outreach and that sort of support in the community. So it was exciting for me and my wife as we looked at the volunteers, and then got to meet a lot of these people who, again, have been serving Agape for years, and then new ones. I've met several new ones since I've been here that are coming to serve us and serve the missionaries. It's really been exciting.
Yes, my name's David Cook, and I'm president of the Venice EAA chapter, Experimental Aircraft Association. We have a meeting every month on Tuesdays, third Tuesday of the month at 7:30. And originally the meetings were for home builders to get together and ask questions and learn things about the home building. And since then, chapters have gone on and become social networking, and so that's basically what we're about. It was originally an organization that people that built their own airplanes from kits or from scratch got together and exchanged information, they exchanged tools, and they actually built their own aircraft and flew the aircraft. So it started way back in '53. So it's been going on for quite a while. I think there's probably 170,000 units now, so it's quite impressive. Being patient, you know, it takes a while. It takes a long while. It took me 7 years, and it helps to have some blueprint knowledge. But there's people who don't. There's people who build them in their house, hang the stabilizer on the wall, or put the wing behind the couch or something, and so it's a home building project. And like I say, it takes a lot of patience, because you just do one thing at a time until you run out of things to do. And home building, it's getting easier because of modern computer drawings and computer punched kits. So in my case, it took 7 years, and now with the same similar kit, you can do it in probably 1.5 years, 2 years. So they've really advanced the building of the kits. I enjoyed the building part. It was something that you could do every day. You know, you do a little bit every day, 3 or 4 hours maybe in the evening. Or of course, I was retired when I started it, and so I could spend all day if I wanted to. But usually it's 3 or 4 hours a day. And now that it's done, I miss doing something every day with it. Now that it's done, I fly it maybe once a week instead of being out here every day. So I miss that part. Our EAA chapter here was started about 11 years ago, and it was folks that broke off from the Sarasota chapter and decided to start a chapter down this way. And so it's brought a lot of people in the Venice area, Englewood area together, and so we don't have to travel to Sarasota or to Punta Gorda, where they have another 2 chapters. And it's a nice little friendly airport, and we'd love to have a permanent home here. We've been accumulating our money, and hopefully one day that the airport administration will allow us to build a place or rent a place, or that's what we're hoping for. Probably the easiest way for people to contact a chapter is to go on the EAA website. It's eaa.org, and there you can look for a local chapter, and our chapter is listed in there. And my telephone number and my email address is on there. So if they can stop by at our meeting anytime, over to the Elite Flight Academy, where we have our meetings, like I say, the 3rd Tuesday of the month at 7:30 in the evening. So they could just show up, and you don't really have to join at that time or anything. You can just come and see whether you enjoy the people, and if it's what you like to do, they can. Also, they can join the EA National chapter, and they get a magazine every month, which is a really nice magazine called Sport Aviation, and so that's really nice. Yeah, my GPS isn't in here, so we'll hide the wires.
Yeah, I was impressed by the Angel Flight fellows plane. He had like no less than 2 GPSs in there.
Yeah, yeah. This is just a VFR panel. In other words, I can't fly in instrument conditions, but it was the least expensive way I could go with the instrument. So
a good price saver doing it that way.
Right, right. But the rage now is the glass cockpit. So with all the computer generated images and synthetic vision and all that sort of thing.
So how much wiring was there to hook up and all that?
A lot, but I got through it. Some guys will farm it out, but I was able to do it myself, and everything worked. Smoke didn't get out of the wires at all, so that helps.
Definitely a better sign.
But the engine was a experimental engine. It's a copy of the Lycoming 180 horsepower, and I bought that from Mattatuck in New York, and it's been flawless ever since. And you say, what's the hardest part? I would say the hardest part was maybe the fuel tanks, because we have to use this compound to cover all the rivets and make sure.
What's that like when you're getting up in a plane you built and you're about to take it up into the air?
I don't think there's anything like that. It was scary. I'll have to admit it was scary. But knowing that you put it together yourself, you always wonder that there may be a bolt missing or something. But we have inspectors. The government inspects it once. And we also have chapter members who are technical counselors. And we have them look it over 2 or 3 times during the building process. So we're pretty well assured that we've got something. Plus, this particular airplane is well documented. 7,000 of them flying. It's got to be a good design and safe, and it was. But it's exhilarating. I mean, once you get up and you're not going to crash, you come down with a smile on your face for sure. We call it the grin that will never go away.